welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for coming back. Really appreciate the support. Please don't forget to subscribe, like my video, leave a comment, feedback below. Let me know what you think of my videos. Okay, all right. So today I want to talk about an age-old question that we keep hearing, and so many people keep asking, how come nurses make so much money but they don't retire as millionaires, or they don't retire rich, and they are not rich? So first of all, let me clarify something. I think it's a misconception that so many people have that nurses make a lot of money. I'm a nurse, okay, so um, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that nurses make minimum wage. Um, Definitely they make more than that, but nurses do not make the most as a profession, most income as a profession. Nurses are, I think, middle income, somewhere in the middle. But I do think nurses make a decent amount of money to be able to retire rich. So today I'm gonna talk about some few stuff, and the reason why I think sometimes it's so difficult for nurses to retire rich. And one thing that I've sort of um, seen happen with a lot of nurses is that the balance between the income and their expenses is just off. So in order to be able to save enough money to put some towards investing, or to put some towards your 401k, to save for retirement, in order to come up with enough money to do that, you have to be able to control your expenses. So regardless of how much you make, you can be making six-figure salary, you can be making, whatever. If you do not keep your expenses under control, it's gonna make it very difficult for you to save, and to be able to invest, because in order to create a long-term wealth, or long-term financial independence, money that you can use to take care of yourself and do things, you have to be able to budget your income, and you have to be able to save, and you have to be able to put that money to work. Did not say put that money in the bank. Put that money to work. Take the fear out of you. So many people are scared to death of the stock market because they feel like when they put their money there, they're going to lose everything. Let me tell you something. If you do your homework, there are very good companies on the stock exchange that you can invest in, and you'll be okay. You're not going to lose your money. Short-term market goes up and down. Nobody can guarantee anything that is going to happen, but long-term, and investing to create wealth is a long-term process. If you want to invest to create wealth, you have to have time, patience on your side to be able to reap the benefits of it. So for nurses, I think the major obstacle is their expenses. I think some nurses spend too much on things that really depreciate in value. I don't know whether it's the kind of lifestyle that they live, is whether they are trying to please somebody, or whether they're trying to prove something to somebody. I have no idea what the motives are, but all that I know is that I know that there are some nurses out there that spend a lot, and when you do that, it will make it very difficult for you to have any extra left to invest. Some will go and buy a huge mansion, okay, a very big mansion, and it's only them and maybe their children and their spouse living in there, and they are not renting anything out, so therefore no income is coming from the house. So the house, in other words, becomes a liability instead of it being an asset, because it's like it's taking most of your income. And for some, I've heard some nurses even say they cannot afford to contribute 15% to their 401k because, they won't be able to pay their bills. And when that happens, that's a problem, because creating wealth is all about diversification, right? You have to be able to diverse your money into different places. So if you go and buy a house that is taking 80% of your income, and you are barely left with anything to take care of the rest of your bills, then you are really not diversifying. You have to know that when the house takes too much from you and you are not really renting anything out, it's not giving you any cash flow, all that you are doing is putting money in there, it becomes a liability, not an asset. Like some people like to confuse it and say, oh, my house is an asset. In the future, when I sell it, it's gonna, okay, in the future when you sell it, but how about building up your retirement fund? How about putting some extra money into investment? There are index funds out there. There are good growth mutual funds out there that you can invest your money in long term to create wealth for yourself. But for so many people, it's like, they have, I don't know, why they are not doing that. So you go and you buy Louis Vuitton bag, you buy, Michael, you buy, not that there's anything wrong with it, but what I'm trying to say is that if your goal is to build wealth, if your goal is to invest and retire very comfortably, and sort of be able to not really be old and still be on the floor working and stuff like that, then you have to put money into work. Put money to work in the market. Don't be scared of the stock market. That's another thing that I keep hearing. You cannot save your way to riches, but you can invest your way to riches. It doesn't matter how small it is. You can invest $50, $100, $200, whatever you can afford. Open a brokerage account, buy good growth mutual fund, or index fund that tracks the S&P 500. As a matter of fact, that's a quote that I love, that Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time, one time said, is that for most people and for most Americans, buying the index fund is the best thing that they can do, as far as getting something from the stock market, because for so many people, they don't know anything about individual stocks, and investing in individual stocks takes work. You have to do your homework. You don't just hear people talk about a particular stock and then you go and buy it because you heard people talking about it. Or you don't go and buy a stock because the stock went up 50% yesterday, so therefore you go and you buy that stock, and then the next day everything is gone and it scares you away from the market for good. I think the stock market is a great place to create wealth. We talk about how the rich keep getting richer. That's how they keep getting richer. They invest their money, and their money keeps giving them returns. So investing in the stock market, investing in individual stocks, you have to do a lot of homework. You have to know what you are putting your money into. Do not, please, do not go and buy bankrupt companies, because that's how you end up losing everything. If you are serious about investing in the stock market and long-term wealth creation, you really have to understand the difference between trading and investing. They are not the same. They are completely different things. All right. So there are some companies that they are seeing a short-term movement in the stock that people sometimes get in, they buy it and they quickly take their profits and they get out. And there are stocks that you buy, you don't just trade it, you own it, you just hold on to it long term. And with long term, you gain through returns from the market, and also through dividends if you have a dividend paying stock. But you do not go and buy bankrupt companies. Do not put your money into penny stocks. These penny stocks are so dangerous. That's how you end up losing everything. You're going to lose all your money if you are not careful, because you can buy a stock that is like $2 today, and then go to sleep and tomorrow wake up and that stock is like 50 cents. You basically lost everything. You understand? So don't just go buy any stocks because they are cheap, or you see the stock is, you know, moved up a lot yesterday, or it moved up a lot last week, so then you jump into it, and then before you know it, and you think you are investing in the stock market, before you know, you've lost everything. You know, stay away from penny stocks, stay away from bankrupt companies. Do not go buying stocks of bankrupt companies because you lose everything. Wealth creation, wealth is not created in one day. You cannot create wealth in one day. Maybe you can if you win a lottery or something, but I mean, how many people are gonna win lottery in their lifetime? But for most people, it's a gradual process. It's a process that takes time and patience. And so if you're gonna, you know, if you are serious about creating wealth, you want to be in the market, you want to partake in, you know, whatever is going on in the market, you have to learn to save, to budget your money, save your money, and put your money to work. Put your money in either an index fund or a good growth mutual fund. I wouldn't necessarily recommend individual stocks if you don't know too much about, you know, the stock market and, you know, the individual companies and stuff like that, because if you don't know how that stock has been behaving, you might end up losing everything. All right, I do all of it. I try to diversify. I do individual stocks, but before I buy individual stocks, I do my research. I look at the chart. I go way back like 10 years performance for that stock. Make sure that the company has a strong balance sheet. The company has good management, good leadership that is gonna, you know, give you the growth that you expect from the company. Don't just go and buy any penny stocks or any bankrupt company. Please, it will be better for you to put your money into an index fund or a good growth mutual fund instead. With that, you don't have to worry about one company folding up or one company filing for bankruptcy or whatever, because it's an index that tracks, you know, the broader market. And you know, if you can find one that tracks the S&P 500, then over time you see that your money will grow. So please, nurses, save your money. Stay, you know, just unnecessary expenses, big mansions, big cars. It's like you're trying to prove something to somebody, or you're trying to, you know, look a certain way in front of other people. You're not deceiving nobody, you're deceiving yourself, because at the end of the day, you're gonna retire broke. And then you're gonna ask yourself, for my lifetime, for all this money that I made, how come I couldn't make anything out of it? There are people that are making minimum wage that are saving up and building massive wealth. You know, we hear it all the time. So I don't see why we as nurses cannot do it with our income. We can do it if only we control our expenses, and we watch how we spend. We, you know, if you can bring extra cash flow, do it. Mansions, you know, big mansions is like you're trying to, you know, prove something or whatever. It's not necessary. All these big cars, you know, driving around with big cars so that people would think, oh, you are rich, when you are actually like really struggling. You are not proving anything to anybody. Like, you are just deceiving yourself. So please be honest with yourself. Let's be honest with ourselves. If you are honest with yourself, you can spend according to your budget. If you are, if you lie to yourself and you try to please other people, that's when you go off and then you get yourself in trouble. Things you can't afford to buy, do not go out there and buy them. If your child comes up to you and say, "Mommy, Daddy, I want a Nike shoe," and you know you're gonna have to use a credit card to buy that Nike shoe, just be honest with yourself and be honest with the child. You will be surprised how much children can be understanding. Explain to the child, "Mommy, Daddy cannot afford that. Is there another one that we can look at that is a little bit, the price is a little bit cheaper that we can afford?" That money that you are spending all that money to buy, you can put it into, you can open an account, an investment account, invest that money for that child. That child, but I'm sure if the child is like 15 years now, by the time they are 30 years, they won't even know where that Nike shoe that you bought for them is. But if you had put that money into an investment account, the money would have gone to a point that that child will look at that money and thank you for doing that for them. So it's all about knowing, what is worth it and what is not worth it. You go buy designer, expensive stuff for children, little children that will outgrow those things. How about opening an investment account? And when you invest, time is your best friend because of compound interest. Time is your best friend because over time, it keeps compounding with the growth you get and the dividends. And if you reinvest your dividends, even better. So if you are spending so much, on things that are really not, gonna go up in value, things, that depreciate in value, stop investing your money in things that depreciate in value. Invest your money into things that will appreciate in value over time. So with time, you might buy a bag today. 5 years from now, that bag might be out of fashion. You might not even want to take that bag outside because it might, a new design or a new whatever might have come out. But guess what? If you had opened an investment account and put that money in there, with time, you will look at that, and in your old age, or whatever your plans are, you will look at that money and you'll be so proud of yourself and you'll be happy and you will thank yourself for making that right decision and not going off and spending it on things that are not necessary. So this is my advice to nurses and to everybody that is interested in achieving financial independence, saving to create wealth. You don't create wealth by saving your money. You create wealth by investing your money. That's what the rich gets right. The rich invest their money. The rich don't just throw their money to the bank, because guess what? When you open a savings account and you throw everything in there, other than your emergency fund, which you should keep in a savings account because you don't want to, be, investing with that money because anything can happen. But if you have any extra, put it to work. Put your money to work. Let your money make you some money. This is what we call making money whilst you are sleeping. So that's how, over time, you are able to increase your net wealth and you are able to create wealth that you can go off and live off and, be comfortable. We can always depend on Social Security. Social Security, from the things that are going around, might not even be there by the time we retire. All right. And even if, let's say, it will be there, let's just look at it like, okay, it's guaranteed that Social Security will be there. How much are you going to get for Social Security monthly? Do you open that Social Security statement when it comes through the mail every month to see how much you're gonna get if you retire? Maybe you don't, because I'm sure if you do, you will know that that money is not going to be able to sustain you in retirement. And so that's why you see so many people, they have reached that retirement age, but they cannot afford to retire because that money they are getting from Social Security cannot sustain them, cannot pay their bills, cannot pay health insurance, cannot, take care of their needs. So then they have to keep working. But you and I, at this young age, we can change that by saving more towards our retirement account, and also putting some money outside to work for us, and not going off and just buying a mansion and all these big cars, and trying to show off. It's not worth it. What is worth it at the end of the day is that when you are young, when you are old, when you reach that age where you don't have the strength and the energy to go out there and work, you have enough to still live comfortably and not be at the mercy of somebody, or for fear of being homeless because you can't afford to take care of your bills. Please, let's take this serious. Let's invest, let's save, budget our money, save for your emergency funds. Make sure you pay down your debt, invest your money in the stock market, find an index fund that tracks the S&P 500, or find a good growth mutual fund that will give you some good returns over time, and put any extra money that you have. It doesn't matter. It's not, whether it's $20, whether it's $50, whether it's $100. Put some money to work. Teach your children how to invest. Teach them about investing. Let them grow interest in investing. Okay, because that is what is going to help them when they become older, so they can achieve something and create some wealth for themselves too. All right, so I hope this information that I've given you helps. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment, feedback below. Let me know what you think of my video. This is my opinion, okay? This is just what I think. I just think we should share with one another whatever knowledge we have to sort of empower ourselves, so that we can break whatever bad chain it is that will be holding us back from retiring early, or achieving financial independence, or being able to do whatever we want to do in the future when we are old. So please, thank you once again, and I hope to see you guys back again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and stay blessed. All right.